Okay, so welcome back, guys. So carrying on from where we left off. So I couldn't find a reference image that kind of fits this body profile accurately for me to kind of capture most of the anatomical details in here, but that's fine. That's completely fine. We would just stick with what we already have. The ones I found are kind of more muscular though. You see, there are more muscular structure to it. They have more muscular structure to them. So I might not really be needing that so much. So I'm just going to stick with, I think this should be it. More or less just going to stick with this piece instead. Okay. So let's just keep working on this. I think we need to do a bit more work on the nail. So I'm going to be using the Dem standard brush to kind of create a block out down here. Okay. Let's go to let's go on subdivision level higher for this. Now just carve something in here like so. Maybe that's way too much. Let's just go to a lower subdivision level and then do this instead here. So when we go to an higher subdivision level, it will just look a bit faint in there. Probably a bit more. And I'm holding Alt to kind of create a sharp line around there. Maybe that's way too intense. That definitely feels way too intense. Maybe something more or less like so should be fine. Take down the smooth intensity. They'll probably need to do a bit more work on the hand, no doubt. So I think I'm going to be using particular reference is not clear enough to use though, but let's see if we can find something. Not they're not entirely clear enough, but regardless, we can still work with them. We can still work with them just to kind of get a general feel of how it should look or feel like. So I think I'm going to isolate these parts. So I can just work on it as an individual piece. Okay. I think in this part I'm going to be needing let's start with let's see what the clay builder brush will do for us in here first. Intensity is way too much. So let's kind of block out the knuckle. But I'm going to block out the knuckles in a particular direction to it, something like so. More or less like a V-shaped direction for it. We'll do the same for the knuckle around here. But the height here should be more though. The height here should be more. Okay. Then we'll come in here. Maybe this one should extend all the way here. Just adding some more flesh to this. Okay. We won't be doing this in a much lower subdivision level. Alright, so I'm going to use the Dem standard brush now to kind of create an indentation around here. Kind of create an indentation around here also. Something like so. Something like so. Use the clay brush, kind of create some more indentation in the center like this. Okay. So we kind of have some kind of depth in the center part around here. That should be fine. Then we can start adding some more indentations around here also. But like I named the particular layer primary form, so we're just going to blocking out some primary forms in here. Just to get a good feel of this model. Let's create an indentation around here. So I'm using the Dem standard brush instead to kind of do this. Okay. Though, keeping in mind that even while we're kind of blocking this out, we want to kind of make sure Let's kind of make sure we're kind of respecting this very much. I'm not going too extreme to kind of ruin the entire thing. Also, we need to add fingers to this. And extend size of the fingers out a bit more. Kind of make them a bit larger. But you want to keep in mind that you should kind of taper. So the end should be a bit slimmer compared to the compared to this other compared to this part where the fingers are kind of originating out from. So we're basically trying to have a taper effect around this. Okay. So you want to kind of blow it out so you have a smoother transition so it doesn't feel a bit jagged at edges where the marking is a bit sharp. Okay. Let's go to a much higher subdivision level for this and let's begin to smooth things out. But you don't want to go overboard and smooth them out entirely though. You still want to kind of keep that shape to it. And it's this shape we're going to use to kind of block out the sharp edges to kind of make it look more stylized. So just kind of go a bit gentle on it. I'm using an intensity of 14. I'm being really light-handed on it. I'm adding more when I need to. I'm smoothing this back down. This one is supposed to extend down a bit more all the way here. Okay, so now at least we have a good block out now that we can kind of add some sharp edge to. This one I need to extend down here. Even most of it we need to extend all the way to the edge. Then we have a smoother transition around it. It doesn't feel like it stopped at a particular point, so it needs to have a better transition or almost all the way to the front. Same here also, let's kind of make sure we cannot compensate for this. This one needs to extend down, make it slightly longer. Okay. Okay. We'll then standard brush, maybe with a bit more intensity to it. Start adding some sharp crease to this. Now this particular one feels weird on the side, so let's just compensate for it. Back to the standard brush, then standard brush. Let's add a more tighter crease around here. Okay. Let me just do then yes. Let me just do something a gentle demarcation in here. Just something soft, just to make sure it's being highlighted there. Okay. Something like this should work. This we need to kind of compensate very well on the side. So I'm using the clay builder brush instead for this. Okay. This one still feels rather odd. Alright, but now let's not forget that this is a stylized character, so we still need to make it look or feel a bit squarish on the sides. We need to kind of make this look a bit squarish on the side by kind of adding or using the H polish brush, kind of polish the side a bit more before now creating some sharp edges around there. So even taking a closer look at the I believe this should kind of this kind of taper in a bit more. So let's get that to kind of taper in a bit more. So let's go to the lowest subdivision level for this. Keeping in mind the transition. No, looking at this from this angle feels like a kind of tapered in, but it needs to go in a bit more. Let's see if we can let's max out this part like so. Blow out the max. Then we use the move brush. Let's use the inflate brush instead. Holding Alt. I'll just that feels a bit much. Let me just do this from the side. So we can get better transition to it. Okay. Just trying to make sure I'm not doing it too much. Feel like I'm doing it too much. So let's just inflate some of this out a bit more. Like so. Because when you kind of zoom into a distance, you don't want it to kind of completely disappear or kind of shrink in way too much. Maybe this feels way too much. Be able to use the move brush to kind of fix this slightly. Okay. Yeah, this should be fine. Yeah, still working on the fingers. I think I can start introducing some sharp edge to this now, I believe. So let's use the Dem standard brush. Let me smooth this in first. Oh yeah, before we do that, let's kind of make the hand a bit squarish. So using the H polish brush, I will just blow this out. With H polish brush, I want to kind of get something looking a bit squarish on the side. Maybe this feels a bit too much. Let's take a look at the reference again. Let's see. Okay, it doesn't actually look that squarish though. Maybe I'll just be more gentle around here. I think I need to lift this part up a bit. Feels rather odd around here. Yeah, something like. Okay, this should be fine. Still on the move brush. Just raise this up just a bit. And this I'll just smooth down a bit more. Shouldn't be that sharp. It still be there, but not very sharp. Kind of smooth this out a bit more. Let's square things up around here. Mm. I need to raise up a bit. Okay. It's just minor adjustment that when you see, you just kind of fix with your move brush and just be gentle with it so you don't go overboard and kind of ruin the entire proportion of this. Then adding some squarish, squarishness on this, on the edge. See the advantage of kind of separating this out individually so you don't begin to have issues when you're trying to work on just one individual piece. Okay. I think I'm going to use the gizmo instead so I can do things a bit faster here without having to be distracted with by the legs. Let me just show you guys how I did that. I don't know if you might be wondering how I just did this. So control shift click on this poly group, control click shift again to hide that. Then W to go to the gizmo tool, hold control and then just tap on this poly group. That will kind of max out the entire poly group. Then Q to kind of go back to draw mode. Then control click on the mode that will kind of max out the edge. Then it should be good. Then we can just keep working on this. You can see in here there's more or less like a sharp crease around here, but I think we're going to be doing that in the when we kind of start creating secondary forms. We start making this feel more defined. But for now, let's just keep working on the primary forms of this. Okay, that looks fine. Let's just go one subdivision level higher. So in this particular one, the direction for this does not look too good. So let's just kind of fix this. Okay. Then standard brush. Let's start pushing this in. Let's start from around here. No. Holding Alt. We're just kind of start blocking this in. And just smooth this down. Just have a proper blend to this. And that doesn't look too nice. Okay, bit better now. Let's blend some of this back down a bit more. No, that doesn't feel right. Okay, let's make sure there's a proper blend down here. Okay, now for this piece, smooth this out a bit more. Right. Now this is just too sharp. We're supposed to do that one in a lower subdivision level. Let's go to the lower subdivision level. With the same damn standard brush. I think we can holding Alt. Can repeat the same thing here. Let me observe you on this. Okay, this should just be there, but not too intense. At the very least, let's just have that stylized feel to it. So I'm more or less like kind of iterating between getting some parts a bit rounded and adding some kind of add edge to some other parts. Okay. Something too intense, but at least something enough, something in there to kind of pass or give the feeling of it being stylized. I'm going to lower subdivision level for this. Let's kind of make an indentation around here. Like so. So from a distance, you kind of see some kind of highlight in there, which is fine. Something like this should be just fine. Okay. I think for the most part, this is looking fine. Like I said initially, I'm not trying to make this look extremely muscular. Just trying to have some edges in here that kind of gives us a clear idea as to it being naturally stylized. Okay. For the most part, this should be just about right. I think, let's see if there's something else we can fix or correct in here before moving on. Yeah, this particular one looks a bit too flat. It's too flat around here. Let's compensate for that. Okay, and that feels slightly better now, I believe. You should probably have No, no. Let's just try and make this slightly squarish, like so, and then just blend this out. I'm just looking at the body just to make sure everything is looking right before moving on to the face. I might still even come back to some part of this body to kind of fix some things up. Because for the most part, this most of this stuff is not going to be seen, but just for the sake of making sure, we kind of still add them in there. Okay. Okay. I think the silhouette. Let's see. Let's check the silhouette for this. Because as much as we're trying to make everything work in the 3D view, let's kind of make sure the silhouette for this is also working correctly as it should. I'm kind of using this kind of picture or kind of get a better idea as to the silhouette for this. Okay. The leg should be fine. We've captured the silhouette for this properly. The arms also are also large. That's also fine. The shoulders also are a bit wider. That is also fine. The only thing that needs fixing adjustments is the head. And we'll get to that in a bit, but let's just make sure every other thing is working completely fine. I'm more used to creating realistic characters, so it just feels like now working on a stylized character, and I've kind of blocked out most of the major forms. I'm supposed to move on right now to the head, but working on realistic characters kind of gives you the idea that you have to spend a longer time on it, kind of make sure everything is working correctly. But working on a stylized character, it doesn't take so much time in regards to realistic characters. So it just feels like I'm missing something, even though I know realistically I've pretty much done most of what I need to do, especially for this kind of character that is not entirely muscular. So and also most of these details on the body is not going to be very visible. So I think maybe let's just move on. So in the next lesson, we're going to be working on at least getting some shape of the head in there. Then if there's any other correction that needs to be made, we can always come back in and then fix or correct that as we go. So I think this lower part we need to raise this up a bit more. If you look more or less like this instead, more or less like this instead, okay? So yes, in next tutorial we're going to be at least working on the head and try to get the shape of the head in there, the anatomy of the likeness of the head in there. We talk about some stylized anatomy that we should kind of keep in mind while creating or fixing stuff for the head. If you feel there's something else you need to kind of do for the body or for the arm, that's completely fine. You can always go back in and then fix and adjust that until you're kind of satisfied with the results. But at least for now, I think I'm going to leave this the way it is, and the next lesson I'm going to work on the head. So bye for now. Then just do a quick save for this file.